But on that, Tom Brady was framed. And I have it on good authority that Hillary did it. Why else do you think she deleted her emails? Bill, thank you for the very, very kind introduction. I am so proud of the team we have here, our statewide chairman, Bill O'Brien, Bob Smith, Dave Wheeler. We have an incredible team that you could not find three more well-respected, proven conservatives across the state of New Hampshire. And our leadership team that has come together is extraordinary. It is men and women, it is leaders across the state. The purpose of this gathering here is just for me to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the men and women who are gathered here, the men and women who together, we're going to win this race. Look, we know what the problem is. We're bankrupting our country. Politicians in Washington aren't listening to us. Our constitutional rights are under assault, and we know how to fix it. We bring back jobs and growth and opportunity. We adopt a flat tax. We abolish the IRS. We repeal Obamacare. We secure the borders. We defend the Bill of Rights, free speech, and religious liberty. We stand for life and we stand for marriage. Yes. And we repeal Common Core. And we stand up and defeat radical Islamic terrorism. With a commander-in-chief who is willing to utter the words, radical Islamic terrorism. So I want to talk about how we get that done. I want to talk about how we win the state of New Hampshire. Now I want us all to step back to 2011, when I launched my campaign for U.S. Senate. Now when we launched that campaign in Texas, I was at 2% in the polls. The margin of error was 3%. Those are actually our real poll numbers. I came home to Heidi. I was all excited. I said, sweetheart, we're at 2%. She said, well, technically, couldn't you be at -1? It's like, thank you, my love. You know, God has great wisdom in giving us spouses to ensure humility, like it or not. And our opponent in that race was the lieutenant governor who controlled the state legislature. That meant that every statewide elected official in Texas was against us, every lobbyist, every major corporation, every special interest, and just about every major. Barack Obama's 2008 primary victory over Hillary Clinton. We all remember that 2008 race where Hillary Clinton had all the money, all the infrastructure, all the Democratic Party donors and bundlers and power. She was the most inevitable, unstoppable candidate since Hillary 2016. And Obama ran an unbelievable grassroots campaign, a guerrilla campaign that encircled the Clintons. They didn't know what hit them. Came at them from every direction from the people. I went and bought David Plouffe, Obama's campaign manager's book, The Audacity to Win. Gave it to our senior team. Said, we're going to do exactly that. We're going to nakedly, shamelessly emulate that from the people. So what we began doing is we began waging a grassroots campaign. We traveled the state, went to hundreds of Denny's and IHOPs and VFW halls, and sat down with 10, 20, 30, 40 people and answered their questions. And sat and talked. And listen, a lot of those folks had the natural reaction, why on earth should we trust you or any politician? That is exactly right. That's what we should ask every single candidate. But as we built our campaign, started off with a few dozen, Then it became a few hundred. Then it became a few thousand. Then it became tens of thousands all over the state. You know, I remember one event we did down in the Rio Grande Valley. It was a Saturday night. We were in a church fellowship hall. About 300 people came out. Now, the Rio Grande Valley in Texas is very, very low income. It is predominantly Democratic. It is overwhelmingly Hispanic. We had a big turnout, and the county chairman was introducing me at the time. This is early in the campaign. And he got up and he said, you know, most Republicans, when they come down to the Valley of Texas, they go to the country club and they do a $1,000 a head fundraiser. He said, Ted is different. This is not a fundraiser. Ted is here to listen to you, to hear from you, to hear your concerns, to have a conversation. I got up, I said, Javier, thank you for the very, very kind welcome. Thank you for the reception. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I got to say, I got to disagree with one thing you said. You said, this is not a fundraiser. Everything we do is a fundraiser. And I said, listen, if there are folks here who can max out, God love you. I promise you we'll use the money to good effect. But you know what? Everyone here can give something. Everyone here can give $10 or $25 or $50. And the single biggest reason why is when you do that, you're invested. When you do that, you got skin in the game. When you do that, it's not my campaign, it's our campaign. We saw this grassroots army sweep that Texas race. It was a $50 million primary. Most expensive primary in the country. My opponent was worth $200 million. He wrote a $25 million check out of his own pocket. Ran $35 million in nasty attack ads coming at us. You turn on the TV, about every third ad was saying what a horrible human being I was. Midway through, Heidi watching the ad, she turned to me. She said, goodness gracious, I didn't realize what a rotten guy you were. But the grassroots from the ground came up. And we went from 2% in the polls to, despite being outspent 3-1, not just winning, but winning the primary by 14 points, winning the general by 16 points. That is the power of the grassroots. I am thrilled to be at our new campaign headquarters. By the way, this is awesome. This is going to be the hub of expanding. We are all in on New Hampshire. We are competing. We are building an organization. And the object here, and what we're seeing happening, is to reassemble that old Reagan coalition. To bring together all of the different elements. To bring together conservatives and evangelicals and libertarians and Tea Party activists and small business owners. To bring together young people and Hispanics and African Americans and women and Reagan Democrats. That's how we win. How do we win this election? We want to run an election of hardworking men and women who want to believe again in the promise of America. And we run against the bipartisan corruption of Washington, embodied by Hillary Clinton. I got to tell you, I can't wait to stand on that debate stage next to Hillary Clinton. What we have on our side is truth.
Right.
Conservatives win nationwide when we effectively articulate what it is we believe. Liberals win nationwide when they effectively hide and obfuscate what they believe. And there are two reasons for that. Number one, our ideas work, their ideas don't. And number two, this country is and remains a center-right country. We are a country that remains grounded in the Judeo-Christian values that founded this nation. And so all we have to do is speak the truth with a smile. Tell the truth. The Obama-Clinton economic policies are a disaster.
Right.
They don't work. And we know how to fix it. Let's talk for a second about young people. Last two elections, young people went overwhelmingly for Barack Obama, 70-30. Now you look at young people right now. They're demoralized, they're dispirited. Obama's popularity has plummeted, but they haven't turned to Republicans yet. We have an opportunity with young people to earn the support of young people. Listen, on the merits, we've got an incredible argument on substance to make. You know, if you sat down, if you tried to design an agenda to hammer the living daylights out of young people, it would be very hard to come up with a more effective agenda than the Obama economic agenda.
Right.
For 6.5 years, we've seen the great stagnation. Anemic economic growth, 1-2%. Young people are coming out of school. They got student loans up to their eyeballs. Scared, am I going to get a job? If they do get a job, is it going to be part-time? Am I going to learn any skills? Am I going to begin to be able to work towards a career and provide for my family? You know, we put out a while ago a meme online. Reaganomics. You start a business in your parents' garage. Obamanomics. You move into your parents' garage. Nobody has a greater stake in booming economic growth and small businesses prospering than young people beginning their careers wanting a better future, and we can get back to that. But secondly, Obamacare. One of the easiest ways to understand Obamacare. It is a massive wealth transfer from young, healthy people to everybody else. The reason Obamacare has plummeted with young people is they've seen their premiums skyrocket. They're like, holy cow, you mean I got to pay for this? And number three, our national debt. It's gone from $10 trillion to over $18 trillion in 6 years. Who the heck do you think is going to pay for that? It's like young people, their parents went out, got a credit card in their name, went to Vegas, partied it up, and stuck their kids with a bill. On substance, we have a powerful message for young people. A message of liberty, a message of individual autonomy, a message that you can achieve anything. But I'll tell you, style matters too. Would it kill Republicans to crack a joke? Actually, some I think it might. You know, I'm reminded of my colleague Mike Lee. He describes how he was newly elected to the Senate. Mike looks fairly young. He was standing on the Senate floor. He was leaning on one of the desks, and one of the officers came and said, "Sir, you can't lean on that desk." He didn't realize Mike was a senator, so he kind of yelled at him. And Mike jumped up and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. And he said, "Look," he said, "I understand. I mean, these desks are 200 years old. Some of our colleagues aren't even 200 years old. But you gotta have some life and some fun." All right, here's an example. A couple of years ago, I went out to California. The week before I arrived, these posters began appearing all over the city. Posters of my head on a shirtless body that's ripped. A giant eagle across my chest. 2 6-shooters on my abs, which are a perfect 8-pack. A cigarette dangling from my mouth. Winston Churchill on my right bicep, which is massive. And above it, the legend, blacklisted and loving it. Now, we had nothing to do with this. This was a local street artist. I'll let you guys hold it. A local street artist in LA named Saba who put them up on his own. But we decided we're going to have some fun with them. So we posted on Facebook an article about it. And we said, for whatever reason, these posters have begun appearing all over Hollywood. I got to say, I've noticed a glaring error. I don't smoke cigarettes. We got to have fun. We got to have life. Let me tell you the way we're going to win this race. The way we're going to win the primary and the way we're going to win the general. It is the men and women gathered here. It is each and every one of you. The object of this campaign is to urge you to become arsonists. Now, the parents getting worried, all right, what did I bring my kids into? Spreading the flame of liberty from one person to another person to another person. Part of the reason Republicans get clobbered lately with young people is we run Soviet-style campaigns. With the Politburo up top going, you go do that, you do that, you do that. And a lot of people, especially young people, say, go jump in a lake. Our object is different. We want to create political entrepreneurs. We want to empower each and every one of you. Go win this race. We're going to do everything we can to give you tools, to give you materials, to give you messaging, to help you with tools. But each and every one of you, think about the people in your circle that you can reach out to. Your friends, your family, your neighbors, your co-workers. Think of the people that you can spread the fire and light them on fire to spread it and spread it. That is the power of the grassroots. It's each one of you owning it. When it comes to young people, you want to know how to reach young people? The best people to do it are other young people. You don't need to wait till you're 35 to spread a message of freedom. Come up with something interesting, something fun, something that makes people laugh to explain why freedom matters to you. That is how we're going to win this campaign. This room is going to be one point in helping launch political entrepreneurs throughout this state. Think of this room as a political venture capital fund, funding and helping and tooling political entrepreneurs to spread the message. And I got to tell you, in politics, there is nothing as powerful as the American people rising up today. So I'm going to close the way I started, simply saying to each of you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your passion for this country. Amen. You know, people ask, is this tiring? Running through the campaign? And the simple answer is no. You know why? Because each one of you inspires me. I jump out of bed every day excited. The energy and the passion every one of you has to save this country. When I think of Caroline and Catherine, our little girls, and that we are marching in an army together to save the country for them, for your kids, and for our children's children. We're going to do it together. And you know, I'm reminded, how many of y'all seen the opening scene, the movie Patton? It's a fabulous movie. George C. Scott comes out, gigantic American flag behind him, and he gives a speech to the men. He says, men, we're going to be advancing, not retreating. And he gives a speech that's modeled after Shakespeare's St. Crispin's Day. As Shakespeare put it, we few, we blessed few, we band of brothers. And as Patton put it in the opening scene, Every one of us here is going to tell our grandkids where we were when the Great One was fought. And we won't have to tell them we shoveled crap in Louisiana. He said it a little differently, but I cleaned it up for him. That's what this fight is. This is a room of patriots, and I am humbled, I am blessed, I am honored to stand alongside each and every one of you. God bless you.
Thank you all for coming. This is incredible. If you all see, turn around, you see a courageous conservative support Ted Cruz wall. This is your office. We want you all to write your name on that wall and take ownership of what we're doing here, so we will win New Hampshire. And Senator Cruz will go over there and sign his name, and everyone else. We have a red marker for you. We want you to sign your name on the wall. Thank you very much for coming.
How are you? How you doing? Saw your little tweet.
There you go.
Your family of Pistill's going, that's from the days. Wonderful. Well, Paul, could you raise that for us?
Senator, how are you, sir?
Hey, oh, it's good to see you.
Good crowd. Good seeing you, too. Fair to say other candidates to date have put more emphasis on New Hampshire, at least with physical presence. Is that something you think is going to change with your campaign moving forward?
Well, listen, we are all in the state of New Hampshire. We've got an incredible grassroots team here in New Hampshire that we've built from the ground up. You look at our three statewide chairmen, former Senator Bob Smith, former Speaker of the House Bill O'Brien, Executive Councilor Dave Wheeler. You could not find three more well-respected New Hampshire conservatives in the entire state. They're all united with us. We have an incredible grassroots team all across this state. You can look around and see at our opening session here, our team on the ground is growing, and the power and energy comes from the grassroots. Between now and Election Day, I intend to spend a lot of time in New Hampshire working to earn the votes. We've done, the last couple of days, we've done house parties, we've done town halls across the state. Yesterday, we had over 650 people come out to our house parties and town halls. And what is so encouraging, Josh, is that we're seeing that old Reagan coalition coming back together. We're seeing conservatives and evangelicals and libertarians. We're seeing young people and Hispanics and African Americans and women and Reagan Democrats. That's what it's going to take to win the primary in New Hampshire, but it's also what it's going to take to win the general, both nationwide and in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a swing state, and we intend to compete vigorously and to win New Hampshire, not just in the primary, but in the general election, on the way to winning the presidency and then turning this country around.
And just for fun, you and the Republican frontrunner, current Republican frontrunner, have expressed mutual respect and admiration for each other. Depending on how the nominating process goes, do you think this would be a good pairing down the road, perhaps, for a ticket?
Well, listen, I like and respect Donald Trump. You know, a number of the other Republicans in the field have gone out of their way to smack him with a 2x4. And I have consistently refused to do so. Indeed, I've routinely sung Donald Trump's praises. And I'm glad he's in this race for a couple of reasons. Number one, because of Donald Trump, he has forced the mainstream media to focus on the issue of illegal immigration. Illegal immigration is a crisis. It's a law enforcement crisis. It's a national security crisis. It's a jobs crisis. And I've been leading the fight against illegal immigration for many, many years. And when the topic is focused on illegal immigration, the conversation naturally turns to which of the candidates has a record on this. You know, it was striking in Cleveland. There were 10 candidates on that main debate stage. Every one of them claims to oppose amnesty. And yet a majority of the candidates on that stage have repeatedly, vocally supported amnesty. I'm the only candidate on that stage who has consistently opposed amnesty and indeed who led the fight to defeat Chuck Schumer and the establishment Republicans' massive amnesty program. And standing alongside Jeff Sessions, we beat it in the United States Congress. So I'm glad Trump is helping focus the media on that issue. The second reason I'm glad Trump is in this race is he has a real gift for attracting attention. As a result, you look at that first debate, 24 million Americans watched that debate, record-setting. And yet coming out of that debate, most of the other candidates in the field, their support either stagnated or went down. Our national support doubled coming out of that debate. So I'm very glad for those millions of extra eyeballs, those millions of people that turned on the TV because Donald Trump was in the debate, but then had the chance to hear my positive, optimistic, hopeful conservative message, my proven record, and our support is surging. You know, Josh, in the 100 hours that followed that debate, we raised $1.1 million as people all over the country went to tedcruz.org, contributed online, signed up to volunteer. That is the strength of this grassroots team, and the momentum we have right now is really encouraging.
All right, thanks, guys. There's a heroin crisis in New Hampshire. Do you have any message to the families dealing with this heroin crisis?
We'll do the next media event. So.
Senator, you might mention something to it. 5,000, and if that's the woman, if anyone wants more, we're putting them on all the cars in the Hampshire.
Hey, can we just get rid of it?
And let's back up and talk to them.
All get away from the wall.
Move out here, Senator. I'll let you go.
Thank you very, very much. And if you visit, I want to make sure, Josh, Ethan. Okay, good.
I want to mention to you why I'm supporting you.
Hey, let's move everybody out here so I can sign.
Thank you.
I agree with you on that, and I think it's great.
You're the only one.
Thank you, sir.
I got my vote for my wife.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Good luck. Thank you. What's your problem? Thank you. Steve? Hey, Kristen.
Brian, can you get a picture? I'm going to try to get a picture with him. Oh, I know. You see me? I've been lifting.
Thank you very much.
Get a picture. I have supported you since day one. Thank you so much.
Kristen? All right, which, right there?
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, I really appreciate your support of here, and every other industrialized country has, they have some other central healthcare system. So what about making it a state issue, like the Healthcare Compact does, or some other program?
Look, I think Healthcare Compact is a fabulous way to do it. You can actually look at the idea of what's behind that. Public policy I was running the Center for Health Studies, so I wrote the initial white paper proposing healthcare.
Yeah. How's positioning yourself?
I think that's a very strong approach. My view is we need healthcare that keeps government from getting I think federal reform, allowing rights to health care across states, expanding health care,
Originally an Oilers fan.
and working to de-link health care. And every one of those is power taken to each state.